Jai Baba, chapter 102. Baba never took anybody's service for free. Thus, while preparing food that was to be distributed, he managed everything on his own. Remember, this was all done before 1910, when Baba was physically in a much healthier shape. He did not need people to assist him to move about. Baba would first carefully select all the ingredients. He would get the rice, pulses, flour, vegetables, spices, coconuts, and mutton, if preparing a mutton dish, all by himself, and pay cash to each vendor. He would choose an ingredient, and after proper bargaining, the price would be fixed. Of course, after the price was fixed, invariably Baba would pay double of what was decided upon. Baba made sure that nobody ended up cheating him. He was astute in bargaining. He also did not like anybody interfering with him and his work. He did everything single-handedly, although there were many people who were more than willing to assist him. Sai had 2 handis or large pots in which he used to cook food. If he had 50 people in mind, there was a small handi which he used to cook the food. And if he had to cook food for over 100 people, then there was the large handi. After properly washing the items and cleaning the handi, Baba would light a fire in the courtyard itself. He would grind the spices on a large stone slab. After soaking the pulses in water, he would grind them on the stone slab as well. He would also take dough and make them into large balls and would then prepare delicious rotis or flat wheat cakes. Then, if the dish required, he would add some rice flour to the proper quantum of water and add some buttermilk to make a mixture called ambil, which is like a sour gruel. He was known to make very delicious sweet rice or pulao, a rice dish which usually only contains vegetables, but sometimes he would add mutton to this dish. Many have seen that when everything had come to a boil, Baba would pull up his sleeve and thrust his hand inside the boiling food to stir the food or gruel properly. Nothing ever happened to Baba's hand. There was no burn marks, no redness, nothing. Having finished cooking the food, Baba would take the handi to Masjid-i, where a Maulvi or a Muslim priest awaited. Baba and the Maulvi would pray over the food, offering Fatiha. In fact, if Baba was cooking mutton pulao, he would first send the Maulvi to the butcher to recite the Fatiha, and with proper religious rites get the goat, who was always a doe, never a male goat, to be cut. After the holy Fatiha was prayed over the food, then Baba would remove the blessed prasad from the handi and send the food to Mal Sapati and Tatya. Then Baba would serve the food with his own hands to all those who eagerly waited outside the mosque. Baba personally served the food to the hungry outside. He took no help from anybody, even for this distribution of the holy food. Baba would keep telling one and all, take more, eat more, and enjoy the food. Baba was very clear that those who refrained from eating non-vegetarian food should abstain from this prasad. He was also clear that the food which he had cooked should only be eaten by those who truly desired consuming the prasad. Of course, in ancient times, when an animal was sacrificed with the proper religious rituals and offered to the holy fire, even Brahmins ate the prasad which contained meat. Even according to the spiritual scriptures, this slaying has been sanctioned. Baba was clear, eat only if you are truly desirous. He did not feel bad when somebody refused to eat the food that was prepared by him. He was beyond all these emotions. Remember, when a guru himself is giving you prasad and you begin to ponder on whether it is right or wrong to eat it, then there is nothing more to say. All is lost anyway. The fact is that when one's guru, an enlightened master like Baba, an avatar, offers you prasad, common sense dictates that you eat it with reverence and love. The mind and conditioning should have no role to play. When there is faith, there should be no fear, preferences, patterns, or prejudices. One day on this auspicious day of Ekadashi, Baba told Dada Kelkar, will you please go and buy some mutton for me? Dada Kelkar was a staunch Brahmin. He followed all the rules and tenets which are laid down in the scriptures. To partake in such an act of purchasing mutton was a cardinal sin for Dada. He heard Baba's request and immediately stood up. He quickly began to get ready to go to the market and purchase mutton from Koharala, the butcher. He was about to step outside the mosque when Baba called him back. You know what? Why don't you just send somebody else for this task? I don't want you to spend your time and energy in going and coming. Send Pendu. Oh, let it be. Forget about the mutton. It was obvious that Baba was testing Dada and the latter had passed the test with flying colors. Many wonder why Baba did everything from purchasing the food ingredients to cleaning them to cooking such a huge quantity all by himself. One should understand that Baba truly did not like to take the service of anybody. When it concerned him, Baba had virtually repaired the entire eastern wall of the storeroom meant for the firewood with his own hands. Baba had plastered the wall after laying the bricks one by one. He would smear the floor of Masjid-I with cow dung. He would also stitch his kafni when it was torn, as well as his native underwear called the langot. He expected no help from anybody while he was doing his work. Our Baba is truly a sweetheart. Peace be to all. Baba nourished us with his love, his tender glance, his presence, and his warm embrace. Jai Sai.